Okay, good afternoon, friends. So, in the last class, we were going through the various steps involved in the manufacture of cement. Okay, so we saw something about all the long form equations and stuff like that. And I don't know how many of you really find that interesting. But in this class, we are going to have a look at modern materials. What is the difference between, why do we call them modern materials? Most of these are engineered materials. Most of these are materials which we make to suit or to satisfy certain parameters. We can really engineer certain materials. I am not talking about civil engineers. I am speaking about chemical engineers. Okay. However, it doesn't stop us from stipulating our requirement. We can always say what we want the material to do. We can always specify how it should look. For example, in terms of color, we can also say what should be the density of the material. We can mention what should be the life cycle through which it goes, whether it is going to have UV rays attacking it or whatever we want to say. Okay, now when we please come in. When we look at modern materials, we try to look at materials which are particularly stronger than the traditional materials. Second thing is, they perform better than whatever is available. What do you mean by perform better than what is available? Please close the door. What do we mean by saying it performs better? Excuse me, huh? I'm sorry? It does something better than some other material which is there. Okay, so they say that one tire performs better than another on mountain roads, on wet roads. Okay, same material is there, but the pattern of that groove is made different, so it is performing probably better. Okay, in the same way, think of some civil engineering material. Now, when we say a material performs better, think of a structural material which you want to make it perform better. Of late, you have heard a lot of the advertisements about cements, right? I am sure on TV you will be seeing this cement is better than all others. Okay, so why do they say that it is better? Some performance parameters there which makes it superior to others. Recently, Ramco Cements came to our college. So they told that your product is better and superior for application like grouting for high-rise buildings and stuff like that. Okay, so this is something where we say the behavior is it's performing better. So take any structural material. Okay, if it is going to have something which is superior to another, we can call that it is performing better. Okay, for instance, earlier they used to have asbestos sheets. Okay, why was asbestos sheets banned? Asbestos is a fiber which, when inhaled, causes cancer and stuff like that. So they decided that no more, there will not be any more asbestos sheets. Instead of asbestos sheets, what came? GI sheets came. Okay, what is the problem with GI sheets? Although it is supposed to be galvanized, if it is not done properly, what happens? It starts to corrode. Okay, so now they have other materials which are much stronger, okay, which have much higher tensile strength and which are having the capability of having the color fastened to it. Okay, they make a powder coating, they fuse that color onto the material. That powder which is fused also is resistant to effect of weather. Okay, so now you see, can you see compare the way this material has become better and better and even better? Okay, another thing, how many of you have tried to do plumbing at home? How many of you have tried to fix a leaking tap or something at home? Okay, all of us are civil engineers. Okay, learn about this. So please see what you can do to fix a simple tap. Okay, there is a very simple spindle inside. Okay, if you open the tap, then it's actually a very simple construction. But anyway, what I suggest is buy 2 or 3 low quality taps, open it, then you practice on the real pipe. Now, how many of you remember pipes 15 years ago? I think you're, okay, 10 years ago. You're 17, huh? 16, 17. Okay, so, okay, 10 years ago. 10 years ago, do you remember how pipes looked like? Even 10 years ago, all PVC pipes came. But before that, we had metal pipes. Okay, we had metal pipes. These pipes used to corrode. These pipes used to rust. Okay, even now, if you open a wall and if it's a metal pipe, you'll find that there is a lot of rusting. Have you ever tried to work with a rusted pipe? Or have you seen people work with a rusted pipe? The moment you keep the wrench, it will break. Okay, now, after that, they brought what was known as PVC pipes. How many of you have seen PVC pipes? What is the color of PVC pipe? Huh? Off-white, okay, grey. Okay, then what is the problem with the PVC pipe? PVC pipes are affected by ultraviolet light. PVC pipes are affected by ultraviolet light. The moment sunlight falls on PVC pipe, it will start to become brittle. It will become brittle. You can see the cheap, low quality plastic pipes. It will be blue, green or pink in color when you buy and fit it. After 1 or 2 weeks in the sun, it becomes a pale color. And you'll find it is easy to break it also. This is PVC. And PVC is not resistant to heat. It cannot be used for your geyser line. So earlier, for the geyser line, they had to keep a GI pipe. Okay, GI pipe, same problems are there, whatever we talk about. So now we have come up with another material called UPVC. Okay, have you seen a UPVC pipe? UPVC pipes are yellow in color. Usually they'll have a red line or something to indicate certain property, a red line or blue line. These pipes have very special fittings. Okay, they keep a very special cement. It's a liquid cement. Okay, you just have to apply the liquid cement, put it in place, and it will be fixed. That's all. Okay, but if you look at it, they have some special fittings to fit in your nice fittings. Like for example, in all our bathrooms, I think Jaguar fittings are there, right? To fit the Jaguar fitting, what they'll have is, they'll have a brass inside that UPVC thing, pipe, elbow or bend or whatever, and on that they can screw it. That will only be threaded. The product is very superior. It has very long life. It is resistant to boiling water. It is resistant to many chemicals. It's very easy to fit it. Even the PVC pipe, you use a PVC cement. It's just a liquid. Okay, in case in your house, for instance, about 2 months ago, my son kept a bucket on the tap and then he filled the bucket. So you can imagine what happened. The whole thing twisted, water started to leak. It's very simple. If a thing like that happens, you just have to buy the plastic cement, apply it, you'll be solving the issue. Okay, so please observe works which are happening in and around your place. These PVC pipes are used for your toilet waste also. Okay, whatever comes out of the toilet, it goes many times mostly through PVC pipes. Okay, because hot water is not expected there. And have you heard of materials which are intelligent? What are these intelligent materials? These materials can remember the shape. You suppose you have a spring and then you you change the shape. When the temperature or certain other parameters are correct, it can come back to its original shape. So many materials are now coming up which can have an inbuilt intelligence. It is not intelligent the way you are intelligent, but it has a property to remember the shape or the remembering the property it originally had. Okay, And one more thing is, many times the new materials are very easy to handle. What do we mean by easy to handle? It may not be as hazardous, it may not be as volatile, it may not be as sensitive to change as the traditional material. So now where are polymers used in construction? Okay, essentially we are now going to talk about a very special class of materials called polymers. What is this polymer? Yeah, you come. Third, 3 persons. No need of 3 people sitting. Come, or you can sit here. Yes, thank you. Any other person like that? 3 in a bench. Okay, fine. Okay, what is this polymer? What is a monomer? Yeah, what's a polymer? Long chain components. They are usually organic. They are always organic, in fact. Okay. Any other thing you want to talk? So under certain conditions only polymerization takes place. Polymerization doesn't happen as and when we like it. So usually it is either under pressure or under temperature or in the presence of certain catalysts. This is the chemistry of polymers. Civil engineers, we are not interested in that. Okay. But what we'd like to do is, we'll have to choose the polymers very carefully. For example, if suppose you know that a tank is going to store petrol and you are going to use a material which dissolves in petrol, that is being stupid. Okay, most of the spirits, they dissolve plastics. So we should be very careful about the application. Today, petrol tanks are being made of PVC. Earlier we all used to make huge steel tanks to store petrol. Now many of the tanks are being done with PVC. Okay, anyway, these are some of the things which we already know. Do you have any problem with any of this? What is the skylight? What is skylight? You suppose you have an opening where you keep so that sunlight can come into the house or into a factory. We call that a skylight. Okay. Then flooring or coatings for flooring. Have you seen any plastic flooring anywhere? Have you seen plastic flooring? In the trains, have you seen what is the color of the floor in second class, general second class? Have you seen the color of the floor? Not a dirty floor. If the coach was coming fresh from the factory, ICF, what is the color? Greenish blue. Okay, first class, first AC, brown. Okay, now what is that material which is there? It is called linoleum. It's called linoleum. So if you change the color, it looks like wood paneling has been done in that coach. Otherwise, whatever. Why is that linoleum is being used? It is a material which is flame resistant. Okay, so it means if suppose there is a fire in the train, that material is going to release chlorine. Chlorine is an inhibitor of flames, so fire is going to be, it's not going to be that bad. Second thing is, it is very easy to clean. Linoleum floors are very easy to clean. If you go to many of you are coming from the north, you will see urchins, small children who will come with a small broom, start to clean the coach, come and beg for money. You see how easy they are able to clean the floor. Okay, more or less, you will find that the floor looks very nice. Okay, it's a very sad thing, but still. So linoleum is having these benefits. You can use linoleum in hospital floors because it's very inert. Okay, or in your laboratory floors because it is resistant to most of the chemical spills. Okay, another thing is it's also an insulating material. So lot of benefits are there when you use linoleum as a flooring material. So like this, so many other things are also being used. So these are some of the desirable properties of polymers. Okay, they are very durable. Okay, they are resistant to corrosion. What is this hydrolysis? It is going to break into water molecules because mostly you have some kind of methane or something. If you are going to make the polymer correctly, it is resistant to hydrolysis. Let me put it again. If you are making the designing the polymer, it is going to be resistant to corrosion. If you are going to design the polymer, UV light is not going to affect it. Again, I think you understand what is hygiene and cleanliness is. They are highly reliable. Material, frankly, I am not very much for this plastic bag. If you make a very good plastic bag, it is going to be much better than anything else. That is my personal view. I believe an engineer can really make a good plastic. Okay, so this is what I mean by saying reliable also. It's a very reliable material. Whatever you do, it is going to be the same thing. So wastage is automatically getting reduced. Okay, and it also contributes to economy. How is it contributing to economy? Okay, have you heard of PUF? Okay, at when I was about 8th standard and all, this new material was there. So all the refrigerators will say puff with puff, polyurethane foam. It was a new invention. It was a new thing which they found, which was very good insulator. That same property is applicable even for buildings. If you are going to use puff or some other material inside on your walls, they give a decorative appearance also. Okay. In addition to that, what happens? Air conditioning load reduces. Okay. So you see, economy is not only in the price of the material. Economy is not only in the cost of the material. It is also in the running or the performance in its lifetime. As it performs in its lifetime, how it is going to be giving you returns, how it is going to yield returns to you. Okay. So are you able to, are you clear with this? What I mean by desirable properties. Okay, now I'm coming to mechanical properties. This is basically a repeat of what we talked for some other materials. However, when you're choosing a plastic, these are some of the things you will have a look at. Okay, what is elastic? We already spoke about elastic materials as materials which come back to the original position after a deformation. Okay, you move it from its original position, it will come back. Some materials are more elastic than others. Excuse me, please. However, some are not as resistant as others. Okay, a rubber band is not a truly elastic band. It has some plastic nature. So, what do you mean by plastic? Once you pull a rubber band and leave it, it is going to have a permanent deformation. It is not going to come back to the original position. Okay, so most of the polymers behave like that. Most of the polymers behave like that. Now, what is tear resistant? I actually brought this tape only to ask you to think how you can tear it. For example, if you have an X-ray film, it's a polymer, right? Nowadays, we don't have photo films at all. You only at the most see X-ray films. How many of you have not seen an X-ray film? All have seen. Good. So if you see that, can you pull it and tear it? Have you ever tried to pull it and tear it? How can you make it tear easily? Make a small notch, make a small cut with the scissor, a sharp cut, pull it, it's going to come off immediately. With the same property applies even to the sellotape. However much I pull, it will not get cut. But with the ball pen, if I just make a nick, it is going to just tear, right? So this is what this is because we introduce stress concentration. Okay, forces get concentrated at that place where you make that nick. So if it is not having that nick, if it is not having any of that aberration, your plastic is going to be highly tear resistant. Okay, so you will yourself know, if you carry in your bag some sharp object like your Coca-Cola or something, the bottle makes a small opening, a cut also, the whole bag breaks very easily. But till then it is carrying a very heavy load. Okay, so this sort of property you need to know for your building materials also. Then resilience is the ability of a material to absorb energy. Okay, suppose you are having a rubber mat, thick rubber foam pad. You keep jumping on it. Is anything going to happen? What actually happens? Compare it, I am hitting it with a hammer, I am removing the pad and I am hitting this with the same energy. What actually is happening? On this tile I am going to bang a hammer. straight. The hammer is going to hit. I'm going to keep a thick rubber pad, like maybe a Hawaii chappal. That itself is enough. If you're going to hit it, what happens now? I'm using the same hammer, same force. What happens? Okay. You can understand that the clay is going to break. Suppose I'm going to hit it directly. So a lot of energy has been absorbed by the material. So for some purposes you need it. Can you think of an application where this can be used? If you see a railway track, how many of you have observed the railway track closely? So on the, okay, what all do you see on the railway track? You've seen railway track closely, right? Okay, what are the parts of the railway track? Huh? Okay, that is that the wheel goes on the iron rod, okay. Then there's something in the middle which is white in color. Those are called sleepers. The track rests on the sleeper between the cement and the track. Has anyone seen? Try to see. There are a couple of clips called Pandoral clips which hold the entire track to that concrete frame. Under that there is a pad. It is a very thin, about 2 mm to 3 mm only thick, neoprene pad. Okay, neoprene is also a polymer like this. Okay, so that polymer is so thin. However, the hammering effect of a train. Can you imagine what is the force the train is going to give on the track? That sound which you hear, na, katak, katak, katak. So actually it's a hammering of the entire weight of that locomotive or the thing on the track. That hammering effect is being absorbed by that small pad. Okay. So this is, and it is absorbing that energy and staying in that position. So such a property is called resilience. Toughness is, have you ever tried this experiment? You take your neighbor's steel roll, don't take your steel roll, take your neighbor's steel roll and then bend it 2 times, 3 times, 10 times. After that, what happens? It breaks. Okay, you are giving a lot of energy. If you are keeping on doing it, okay, it is going to break at one point. Okay, of course, this will come under creep. However, you will find that in certain cases, when you apply a very large load, the material is going to fail. If it fails under one cycle itself, it is called toughness. Okay, how much energy it can take before it fails completely is called toughness. Resilience is, it will keep taking energy, small, much lesser energy, but it will be able to keep it for a very long period of time, smaller energy. Toughness is the amount of energy which it will take to break a piece of material. Okay, so that also comes. Compressive strength, how much you can compress without making it fall apart. Then compression and indentation. See, how many of you have got cotton mattress, thick cotton mattress? Okay, in your house, after 5 years, what happens? After some time, where your rear end goes, it is making a flat surface. That is what we are talking about compression here. Coir mattress and some spring mattresses, they don't do that, right? So that is what we call as compression and indentation. It makes a bend in the material itself. So this is, what is hardness? Do you remember the physics definition of hardness? What is the physics definition of hardness? Hardness is the property of a material to be able to scratch another. Okay. If suppose I am saying some material is hard rather than something else, the harder material will be able to make a scratch on the softer material. Which is the softest material according to classification? The softest material is talc. Hardest material, diamond. Okay, listen. All these are very, very, very elementary application of physics, chemistry only. When you go for environmental engineering, you will learn about, you will also use your biology. Only 10th standard biology, only 10th standard physics, only 10th standard chemistry. I don't think I have told any chemistry which is beyond 10th standard. And I hope our country has not become so bad that even this is not taught in 10th standard. Okay. Now, other thing is thermal properties. Okay, what is thermal property? If suppose you want to have a material which is an insulator, should it have high conductivity or low conductivity? Low conductivity. Okay, low thermal conductivity should be there. So you should choose the material suitably. What is flexure? Flexure is bending strength. Okay, shear strength is the resistance to sliding. Usually, just like plywood, this neoprene pad, what I was talking about, is also made. It's made of very thin layers in opposite planes. Okay, so now when a load is coming, actually it undergoes a little shear deformation. Okay, think of most of the things which you compress. Okay, like for example, even sand, it slides and moves out of the way. Okay, so this is only what is known as shear deformation. This is called shear deformation. A lot of the physical phenomena is based on the capacity of the material to resist shear force. Okay, as you go along your course, you will understand it better. So shear strength is very important parameter for the choice of a material, especially for structural application. Then endurance evaluation. What is meant by endurance? I keep giving you 10 tests. End of the 10th test, you'll say I can't make more, maybe. Some people will say no, I can take 2 more tests. Some even take another 10. We don't know. This is what we call as endurance. Okay. So this is done by what is known as first is creep. Creep is like there is a permanent deformation after you release a load. It is called as creep. Okay. So then fatigue is, if suppose I told that example of that scale, right? If I am going to keep bending it, at one point of time it is going to fail. If I am bending it to a very large extent on both the direction, okay, and reversing the stresses, then what happens? It is going to fail much quickly. If I am only doing like this, very small deformation, it is going to be able to take this force for a much longer period of time. But anything which is subject to cyclic load is going to fail at some point or other. So that is what we call as fatigue resistance. Okay, when there is a cyclic load, how the behavior of the material is going to be. Okay, can you give and think of a place where cyclic load is being applied? Can you think of an example where cyclic load is applied? See, if suppose you are going to keep a motor on a block, okay, that block, or you assume it is resting on a beam. Okay, when in most of the material handling plants, okay, you will have motors resting on steel beams. Yeah, the person in the blue shirt, you can stand up here. Yes, you only. Now you can find somebody talking, ask them to stand up and then you can sit. Okay. So now what happens is, fatigue is one thing. This dynamic fatigue also comes under that one. So if you are going to keep a motor on a beam, the beam is continuously under vibration, right? So this can cause it to fail. This can cause a structural beam to fail. I am only thinking about our field, okay? Motor and all these things, they have like pistons, all these have a lot of, these are all areas where fatigue is very large. But we are not going for that. What is weathering? If suppose sun, rain, wind, or any of the what we call as weather, whatever influence weather, frost, if they are going to affect your material, then it is weathering. And aging, okay, what is aging? We all know what aging is. So same thing, materials also, like I am growing bald, I am aging. So just like that, when we look at a material, as it grows older, how it ages plays a very important role. Paint, for instance, that ages. Concrete, the cement might even come out. Okay, so that is a way by which it ages. So, and also your polymers are more subject to aging. Whether the bond between the polymers are strong enough, all these things play a very important role in determining how long this product, whatever you are talking about, can be put for useful service. Okay. So finally, abrasion. What is abrasion? Aberration is when one material is able to rub against another and remove material. Okay. For instance, if you wear your Hawaii chappals for a long time, white and blue will become blue in some places where you are applying a lot of force. Okay. So this is indirectly a kind of aberration only. It's a kind of aberration only. Okay. So I hope you are able to understand these mechanical properties. These are very generic terms. When you go along these 3 years which is remaining, you will find that all of this will come to you automatically. If it doesn't come, something is wrong. You should make sure that it comes automatically. Okay. The first polymer I am looking at is polyethylene, your common grocery bag polyethylene. And you see, cement and many of these things are covered by some membrane. Okay, this is a polyethylene membrane. Okay, so next is whenever you require waterproofing, you can go out, or you can ask your friend and both of you can go out. You are already in disgrace. In spite of that, you want to talk. Huh? Okay, then you can come out and stand. If it is uncomfortable, you can request that person to move a little and then you can come out and stand. And where is your ID card? Okay. In places where we were talking that chloride is very dangerous for concrete or cement. It's for wearing here, it's not for, it's not that I want to know whether you are having it. It's for wearing. Yeah. So, wherever chloride and all these harmful materials are there, they'll try to get a physical barrier between the harmful soil or the dangerous soil and the concrete. It will be a layer. Okay, now, my mouse is here. I want to draw your attention to the sketch which is below. Okay, now I keep telling you I'm going to upload the slides. I'm still trying, I'm still doing every day. I decide I'll go to sleep only after doing it, but I'm not doing it. But anyway, I'll do it. Now look here. Here, there is something called hardcore. Okay. Now, and between this, we are having a layer which we put, okay, a plastic layer which we put so that the harmful material doesn't come in contact with the concrete. Okay. So, usually you will have a layer which is put in here. Okay, it will be a plastic sheet, and you can see this is the way they apply it. This is the way they apply it. Okay, this PVC is also being used as bulletproof vest. This is also being used as bulletproof vest. So this is the amount to which they are able to go ahead with these plastics. Finally, these are also used in construction. These are all the places where you see it. In fact, there are many other places also like pipes which I am not going through. Okay. So, I will stop this lecture at this point. Today, in fact, I actually wanted to show a 3D model of a cement plant. Okay. But today there is no time, and we will do that in the next class. And you can just have a look at what I am talking about. This is what I am talking about. I want to make your imagination big. Okay, I want you to look at the tool which we are having here. Okay, this one is nothing but what we call as a BIM, a building information model. Okay, this was one of the cement plants which I managed to get free online. Okay. So, if you are going to go to a cement plant, quite a lot of things you are going to see. Okay, and actually this is only the tip of the iceberg. So, yeah. So, this is almost the entire plant. the bagging area is here. Okay, the bags will be loaded automatically onto the train. We are not going into, I'm not going to show this thing today. Maybe when we have a little time, we can have a session on that.